You have completed page 5 of 14. At the bottom of page 5, I will ask for you to write the word RED, R-E-D. We are now going into HIPAA compliance. You're going to write your first name and your last name, okay? And you are agreeing that Hope, Care, and Love, and you're going to put today's date. This is a HIPAA compliance agreement between you and Hope, Care, and Love. We are the employer, and the employer is in the business of processing medical records of the clients, hospitals, and other healthcare providers, and enters into contract with such healthcare providers regarding the manner in which the services employer performs must be carried out. Okay? In performing their employment duties, employees acknowledge that will directly or indirectly gain access to protective health information. As that term is defined under the Federal Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, and the regulations promulgated there under HIPAA. Employee further acknowledges that the PHI is protected from disclosure by HIPAA and applicable state laws. Employer is unwilling to employ unless employees agree to maintain the confidentiality of all PHI set forth in this agreement. Okay? So, I'm not going to read all of it to you. Okay? You need to read it. You are not to take pictures of your clients and post them online. All right? You are not to take pictures of your clients and send them to each other. If you have to take a picture of your client, it can be sent to us, the employer, and we can review it to see what's going on. You are not to post on social media comments about your clients or individuals. You're not to read their information or personal information and use it outside of the care that you're providing. You are not to take anything that's personal about them, whether it's their medical, their health, their mental health, their social, any of those things, and discuss them outside of their home, okay? You can discuss them with us, who is the employer who is providing a service to them. You are not to even disclose it to their cousin down the street. This is all part of the agreement that you are following HIPAA guidelines. Please understand, if someone feels that you have breached that HIPAA compliance, they can sue you. And if they sue you, they're probably going to sue us as well. So we are now asking you to sign this form saying that you understand that you are not to breach confidentiality. You are not to discuss their personal, their medical, their mental, or their financial business with anyone outside of us, which is the employer, for anything that is related to the care that they're giving, or with them, unless otherwise given permission. Okay? So please, that is page 6 of 14. I need you to put an N in the corner. Okay? In the event that there's a termination of employment upon breach of agreement, the employer may immediately terminate you, which is us, in the event that you have breached this confidentiality. Okay? And if we find that we could result in turning it over to the client, who could then file charges against you. In the event that you become no longer employed with us and you have any information, any paperwork, any doctor's notes, any medical, any financial documents that belong to the client, you must immediately return them to the office, okay? The employee shall, to the fullest extent permitted by law, protect, defend, and indemnify and hold harmless the employer and the employer's employees, directors, officers, agents, clients, and the directors, officers, employees, and employees' clients. Okay? You must keep this information confidential and keep it without being used in the public. All right. So your signature below will attest to the fact that you have read, you understand, and you agree to all of the legally bound terms above. Please date, please print, and please sign. Page 7 of 14, you are going to put an M for mom. Okay. Home care employees only. There's a transportation waiver. All right. Please read this form carefully and be aware that that in consideration for Hope Care and Love Home Healthcare Services, you will be expressly assuming the risk and legal liability and waiving and releasing all claims for injuries, damages, or loss which you may sustain as a result of said services, included but not limited to vehicle operations, onboarding and exiting the vehicle. Okay? I recognize and acknowledge that Hope Care and Love Home Healthcare Services is neither a common carrier nor in the business of providing transportation services to the public or its clients. Do not put them in your car, okay? I further recognize and acknowledge that there are certain risks for physical injury to vehicle passengers, and I voluntarily agree to assume the full risk of any injuries, damages, or loss, regardless of severity, that I may sustain as a result of participating in any and all activities connected with or associated with giving transportation services to a client, including but not limited to injuries, damages, and loss arising out of negligent operation or supervision of the vehicle. I further agree to waive and relinquish all claims I may have or accrue to me against Hope Care and Love Home Healthcare Services, including its respective officials, agents, volunteers, and employees. Okay? Don't put them in your car. You can drive their car. Long as you have a license and you are following and they are in the car with you, you'll be covered underneath their insurance. Okay? However, do not put them in your vehicle and do not drive them in your vehicle. And if you do not have a license, do not drive. Please sign, print, sign, and date. That is page 8 of 14, and you are going to put an H in the bottom corner. The non-compete agreement. The employee is in this employee non-compete agreement agrees to not solicit business from the employer, clientele, or individual already a client of the employer, should the employee leave the employer or be terminated for any reason. The employee may not refer business from the employer's clientele or individual already a client of the employer to the employee's family or relative caregiver business, should the employee leave the employer or to be terminated for any reason. So with the non-compete, in this agreement signifies that the employee will not run, consult, or own a business identical to the hiring company should the employee leave the employer. Okay? The word competition in this agreement means should the employee leave the employee will not take part of any of this business to perform the following functions for 1 year, which is in-home care or private duty. Okay? Per the terms of this agreement, and during employment by the employee may be privy to company secrets or inside information that is considered confidential. The employee agrees to keep this information in confidence, not to be shared with a third party. The employee agrees to take whatever steps necessary to maintain this confidentiality, not to disclose client, supplier, economical, or developmental information to any outside party during employment. Okay? So fines. The employee will pay a fine of $10,000. Yes, you will pay $10,000 in all attorney fees if you violate the non-compete agreement. Okay? Don't do it. There's plenty of clients out there. There's plenty of other work to be done. Do not try to solicit clients that are already with us. Okay? This employee non-compete agreement is enforceable within a set geographical region contained within the employer's sphere of business activity. This geographic region where the employee agrees to the employee non-compete agreement runs from within 300 miles. Okay? The employee agrees not to practice the aforementioned business in this geographical region for 1 year beginning on the date of termination of the company. So please date, we will sign, and you are to sign. And this is page 9 of 14. And on 9 of 14, you are going to put the number 3. The next page, which is the emergency contact. It is very important that we have your emergency contact information. So we're asking that you put a family member or a friend who can get in contact with you in case of emergency. And you say, why? Why would we call them? We have had instances where someone didn't come to work, they stopped showing up, and we were genuinely concerned. So they weren't answering our calls, they weren't answering our messages. So we reached out to a family member, and that family member has advised us of some concerns where they're not able to reach us. You could have been incarcerated. It could be in the hospital. It could have been you were in an accident. It could have been a lot of different things. So we ask that you complete this emergency contact to its fullest. Okay? So we're going to take a few moments. I'm going to pause. And we will then take the next video to continue. This is page 10 of 14, and you're going to put a number 2 at the bottom of this after you have completed the emergency contact, and you take about 3 to 5 minutes before you go on to the next video.